can. Yeah, because it's not going to be quite as wide, so I can get it, pushed it back in there to take the place of what I'm taking out before I take the last board out, or if there's nothing wrong with the board, I'll leave it.
But how much
yeah,
more?
Well, you have to, in order to get things in there, you either have to beat it in there or you have to jack the rest of the house up just a smidget to replace the boards. You know, you can't just take the boards out.
I know, but how much more does it cost to get the good stuff that's going to last forever versus?
That's what I'm talking about. It's a 6x6 timber.
Okay, well, how much is that?
$25.
And how much is the cheap one that you'd have to replace?
What, the ones that are in there? They're 2x6s.
Yeah, they're a third the size.
There'd be 2 is 3. It'd take 4.
Okay, they're a quarter the size.
That's what there is. There's 4. I replaced 4 of them with one
2x6
solid timber like that branch of that tree.
Yeah.
You know, which is stronger and more durable because it's impregnated with the stuff, and that's what it's the same thing as the 4x4 posts out there.
Yeah.
Made out of that same stuff. You know, only it's either instead of them cutting these things off of the thing with a saw this way, these are the center, the core. You can look at them, and they're the middle of the tree rather than the outside edges. You see what I mean?
Yeah, they're really strong. Really strong.
Like the whole tree.
Yeah.
After they cut these other things off, they get down to this much, and then they use those as a big piece. Because the saw can't, it's like me cutting off my hand. When it gets down to this much, I have to quit.
Right. So why not buy the solid stuff and do it the solid first?
I don't know. We just, Victor said we got to have, 8 2x6s, 8 feet long. Okay. So I went and got them. And we put them up. It sounded good to me because I never looked around at what was available otherwise. You learn as you go.
I thought you knew all about wood and you've done lots of stuff.
I'm an iron worker. I'm not a carpenter.
I know, but you look at all the wood you've done here and all your houses. And
we just did it this way because it was probably easier. I have no idea why we did it this way.
And it's cheaper.
The reason is when you go in the house there over the top of the doorway, you put 2 2x12, so 12 inches, or they could be, it depends on what you're putting on them, it could be 10 inches. But you put 2 of those across the doorway, to hold the weight of the rest of the stuff that's above it pushing down.
Right, the load-bearing
wall, yeah.
Right.
That's what you do. It's the same thing here. You just did this and this. It's just not enclosed or anything. It's holding up this roof, the deck.
Then
the more of those you put, the more you can pile on the top.
But you didn't do that over there.
6x6 will be just fine. So I'm done arguing or talking about if I do it, that's what the plan is going to be.
Okay. I just would like things to last like 100 years instead of 3.
How long do you think those posts are going to last?
I don't know, but the dock's all cattywampus.
Those are above the water. Those are what causes most of the problems is the fasteners, the nails and screws and stuff rust off.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, I know
that's nothing to do with the wood.
That's not a good example, but you've had to replace a whole lot of things because you went with third class at first instead of going first class for 10% more, 20% more dollars, and then you have to really.
Well, we have the wood's fine.
No, I'm not talking about the dock. Okay, I'll agree with your point on the dock, but like the front deck.
This stuff here it's because what happened was the ecologists got on them about
the chemicals.
stuff they pressure treated the wood with.
Yeah.
You know, it was too toxic, so they had to switch to something else. It's like air conditioning went from Freon to this, 410 stuff.
Because it's
different. Because the other stuff was too toxic.
eats up the environment.
So
Okay.
the stuff that they came out with wasn't as good as the other stuff. And when we had to replace the whole stairway over there because the wood rotted out on that in 5 years.
But haven't they improved it now?
We got about the same stuff underneath, yes.
Okay.
But what's underneath this deck, holding this deck up, is that old wood.
Yeah.
Remember that I can take and knock out. There's one board that's rotted out that you can just skin off, all the crap falls out of it. But some of the others are still okay.
But you didn't know it at the time, and that's okay because you didn't know. But now you know.
Now you know.
So why don't you
that's
do?
why I want to get us. Can I just
Okay.
get a 6x6, or do we have to argue about how to do it?
No, I'm not arguing how to do it. I'm arguing how to get the good material that's going to last a whole lot longer.
Well, you got these boards that are together, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. The water runs down and goes down between the cracks of each one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it stays damp in there, and then they get dry rot and they rot out. Now, when you got one that's solid, it's like the top of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no water can run in. It goes over the sides and runs off. It doesn't rot.
Why not get that one then?
That's what we're going to do next time.
Oh, next time.
We're fixing it with that.
But what about the one you're working on right now? Aren't you
What
putting?
are you talking about? That
You
over
said
there?
the elevator you're putting
The
in.
elevator's enclosed. It doesn't ever get wet. That's the whole idea.
Well, what-
It's like the house. The house is made out of the same stuff as the elevator.
Huh.
When you enclose it, you put that tie-back on there, which is waterproof and windproof and bug-proof and all that other stuff. And it's called a moisture barrier. I didn't have to do that. I could have just nailed the stuff up because it's outside of the house, actually. The temperature doesn't change if you put that on there because the temperature changes and you get condensation between the wall, between the shingles and the plywood.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hit a bad spot, then it'll rot out, and you get dry rot in spots. The roof does that. Whenever you have to put a new roof on, there's spots you have to cut out and put new plywood in.
I know, I've seen that a few times.
It's just how it all is, So you do what you got to do. I spent $52 or $53 to cover that thing up with that stuff so that I don't have that happen down the road.
Okay. Okay.
I still got some left over too.
I was just thinking when you built onto this house, I was always having to tell you, this is your subliminal mind saying, spend money.
No.
You wanted to go cheap on everything, and
Well,
I'm saying spend money, and you did some.
We re-roofed the little house, and we got the best underlayment.
I know, that sticky
peel and
stuff.
Stick.
I know, that's great, and that's going to
When you
last.
drive a nail in it, it seals around the nail.
Right. That is
It's a
great.
rubbery stuff.
I'm glad. I was happy
Well, it
about
says
that.
it. The thing says that you can put that stuff on. You don't even have to put the roofing on for 30 days.
That's great.
It becomes as good as the roof, but the sun will eat it up over time.
Well, I know, but that way it lasts and lasts and lasts versus the cheap stuff, and then you got to replace it, and
the
then
other thing I want
it's a
to do
mess.
one of these days is I'm going to have to get the pressure washer and clean that roof off down there. And I'd really like to just get a thin metal roof or something and put on there so it doesn't rain through. And then I don't ever have to pressure wash
What,
it.
the boat? The boat?
Over the boat.
Over on the boat or over?
On the roof. The
Yeah,
roof.
or the roof of the boat.
The roof of the roof over there.
The dock
The
roof?
wood, the dock roof.
Oh, it's wood.
Well, it's got cracks in it. It rains through.
Oh,
Just like this deck, because the whole idea was we were gonna climb up on there and set up on that.
right, but
roof
you
like
wouldn't
a
build.
deck.
You wouldn't build any
But it
stairs.
goes like it shakes.
You wouldn't build any stairs, and I didn't want to climb a ladder.
Well, yeah, right.
And
Well,
you
the
didn't
thing
want to
was,
leave the
yeah,
ladder out there because
well, the thing, you get up on there and it'll go like this. You know?
I loved it. If there'd been stairs, I'd been up there every day. But there's no stairs, and I don't want to climb a ladder. And then
Yeah, well,
you got to pull the ladder down every day.
That's before we were a little more energetic than we are right now.
I would still climb stairs and go up there, but
Yeah, well,
that's okay. I know you said people get up there and then you got liability and a mess on your hands. I understand that part,
well,
but
the next thing would have to put a fence around it.
right, so you don't fall off.
So nobody can fall off.
I know.
I'm not doing all that.
I know. But it wouldn't be it would be usable if it was like that, but not.
You know, if I
Whatever.
was real industrious, I'd go out there and level the dock up.
Yeah, that's going to have to be done.
Well, it doesn't have to be done. It's
Well,
just-
because if we want to sell the house, that's the people are going to say, "What? This is all cattywampus."
water runoff.
I know, but it looks like
No.
Albert Einstein. It looks like
Well,
what's the guy with
Well,
the
what-
funny paper?
Yeah.
What's the guy with the funny paper? Little Abner. It looks like Little Abner and the goats
Yeah.
on the roof.
Well, the reason is where the boats parked, those posts sunk.
I
So the
know.
whole thing went down.
I know. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It just happened. And that's fine. Things happen, but you got to deal with them. And I know not right away because you've had all kinds of other stuff going on. But it's just got to be on the list to do, but sometime because it's weird.
Well, you don't understand what a job does.
Oh.
You can't just take it loose from the post.
I know.
What you have to do is every board that you see out there has to come off of the dock. You have to, and they're all either nailed or screwed down.
I know. I saw you. The walkway was so cattywampus, you almost
Long
fall off.
time.
I saw you fix that, and they go up and down. And I saw you, and you used the come along, and you used you.
Yeah, but see what if it breaks down, then I can do it. But if it's just like it is right now, it has through bolts and regular bolts, and they all rusted up and everything. But once they rust off, then they're not in the way. Then you can pick them up and put in new stuff.
Ah.
I can't do it until it does it again.
Oh, okay. You want to be like your neighbor who let their dock just float away, piece by piece.
That's not going to happen. The dock's fine. Nothing's wrong with it. It's just sloped.
Why, if
It's
the
a-
bolts come out, won't it float away like the neighbors and go to wherever the
It's not
neighbors
going
went to?
anywhere.
If the neighbors went somewhere.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I gotta go.
Okay.
take a bath.
Okay. Okay.
I'll tell you what, I'm almost wondering if I don't have some kind of kidney problem with kidney stone.
I thought you had a brain tumor. What happened to the brain tumor?
Well, it's got better.
Okay, good. I'm glad.